If you've spent, I don't know, any time at all on social media lately, you've seen it. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
This whole idea of the glow up, high vibes, becoming your best self, it's always presented as this like exciting and almost instant thing.
It is. It's very aspirational. But here's the thing. That whole narrative is missing about, 90% of the actual story.
Exactly.
So our deep dive today, it's all based on source material that gives us the counter-narrative.
Right.
The gritty parts of the journey that nobody ever posts about.
That is exactly what we're doing. Our mission is to really uncover the real cost of this transformation. Because the sources are, they're crystal clear about it. Real growth is lonely, it's hard, and maybe most importantly, it is quiet.
Right.
It is so much more than just, Instagram captions and aesthetic routines.
It's a total internal demolition and rebuilding. We're going way past the shiny outcome, the success, and we're looking at the difficult everyday process.
Right. So if you're looking for a shortcut, well, this deep dive is probably going to feel a bit uncomfortable.
Because the sources are very clear on that too. Shortcuts, they just don't exist.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's start with probably the most painful truth right off the bat: loneliness. Loneliness is your first teacher.
Yeah.
The idea that when you really start to grow, when you raise your standards for your life, you outgrow people.
It's almost an inevitable consequence. You're shifting your whole frequency.
Yeah.
And it is a difficult thing to watch happen.
How so?
Well, as your habits change, your goals, your whole outlook, maybe you stop going out drinking every weekend, you start getting up early, or you're spending your time learning something new.
Okay.
The people who are comfortable with the old you, in that old ecosystem,
Yeah.
they might not fit anymore. And that could be friends, family,
Yeah.
even romantic partners.
And the source material makes a really critical distinction here, which I think is so important. It says this feeling isn't rejection, it's realignment.
Yes, realignment.
But what does that actually feel like? How do you know the difference between a necessary cut and just, running away from a difficult conversation?
That is a really, really good question. Because it's easy to mistake avoidance for self-improvement.
Right.
The sources suggest that true realignment, it comes from a place of internal clarity. You're not running from them. You're running toward a life that they just can't be a part of.
So it's about your goals.
Exactly. If your goals like discipline, health, focus, require habits that are just in direct conflict with the relationship, well, then that relationship is just holding you back. It's structural drag.
So an example would be if you step away from a friend group that only wants to party to focus on your health, and those friendships fade. That's realignment.
That's realignment. Or if you're trying to build a business and your partner constantly mocks your effort instead of supporting it. Painful, yes, but necessary.
And the sources frame loneliness itself not as, this enemy you have to fight off.
No, not at all. It's a guide, an active guide.
A guide.
Think about it. When you have fewer voices in your ear, fewer people telling you what to do or who to be, it forces you to rely on yourself.
It forces self-reliance.
That's where you forge real clarity. That's where you build that deep, unshakable confidence.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting to me. The paradox they talk about. The more comfortable you get being alone, the more self-sufficient you are. The more magnetic you become to other people, which just seems so counterintuitive.
It does, but it makes perfect sense when you break it down. You're no longer looking for validation from other people. You're not trying to get energy or answers from them.
You're a complete circuit.
You're a complete circuit. You are enough by yourself.
Yeah.
And that power, that lack of neediness, it's incredibly attractive. People are drawn to your independence, not your desperation.
That independence is so crucial because it feels like it's the only thing that gets you through the next part of this.
Oh, yeah.
The second truth. Time. We all want the instant transformation, right? But the sources are just hammering this point home.
Yeah.
Patience is completely non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Nothing happens overnight. That expectation of an instant glow up, whether it's your body, your bank account, your mindset, it might be the single biggest thing that trips people up.
We just see the end result.
We see the result, and we totally forget that a real identity shift that's measured in years, not weeks.
And that means you have to be willing to just sit in discomfort for a long time.
For a very long time.
Yeah.
Putting in the work that nobody sees. And you have to do it day in and day out, even when you feel like you're getting nowhere.
So what is the actual secret then, if it's not some huge, heroic effort?
Yeah, the sources are really clear. It's the small, consistent choices over time. We're all waiting for that one big moment, the big break.
The promotion, the life-altering decision.
Right. But real transformation is built in the boring stuff, the mundane.
Can you give us some real-world examples of that? What do they mean by that quiet daily investment?
Yeah, they're not talking about, grand gestures. They're talking about the choice you make when the motivation's gone. It's choosing to spend 20 minutes reading instead of scrolling on your phone.
Yeah.
It's having that difficult conversation you've been putting off. Or, even simpler. It's just doing your expense report on time instead of letting it pile up.
Or meal prepping on Sunday night when you're just exhausted and want to order takeout.
Exactly. It's those tiny moments.
And that shift in perspective, seeing those boring chores, not as chores, but as foundational investments. That seems to be the whole game.
That is the game. And that dedication, that commitment to the unseen work, it leads us right to the next necessary part of this journey.
The pain.
The pain. Sacrifices are not optional. You cannot build a new you while you're still clinging to all the old pieces.
You have to actively cut things out. And the source actually details 4 very specific cuts you have to make. They call them the corners of stagnation.
And that list it's pretty blunt. It covers the people around you and the things inside you.
So what are they?
Okay, number 1, toxic friends. Number 2, lazy habits. 3 is self-doubt. And 4, instant gratification.
Toxic friends, lazy habits, self-doubt, and instant gratification. Why those 4 specifically?
Because they create a feedback loop. A prison.
A prison.
Yeah. The toxic friends keep you in your comfort zone. The lazy habits make sure you never leave it. The self-doubt is the voice telling you not to even try.
And instant gratification is the escape hatch. It's the temporary high that keeps you from doing the long-term work.
Exactly. You leave even one of those standing, and it will eventually pull the whole structure down.
And this process, we have to acknowledge it's uncomfortable. It can feel really lonely at first. You're basically creating a void.
You are, but the source frames it so well. It's not just about losing things, it's about building.
Right. The analogy they used was amazing.
I love this part. Every sacrifice is a brick in the foundation of the person you're becoming.
A brick in the foundation?
You're not just losing something, you're trading a cheap, immediate comfort for long-term strength, for structural integrity. You skip a sacrifice, you skip a brick, and your whole building is weak.
Wow. And once you've faced the loneliness, committed to the patience, made the sacrifices, you hit the final boss.
The final boss.
Yeah.
Your own ego.
The ego that fights you every single step of the way. It's that little voice whispering all the reasons you should just stop.
And the ego whispers that because its only job is to protect what's familiar, it's saying you deserve to be comfortable. You're fine. This is too hard.
It's scared of losing its identity, even if that identity is keeping you miserable.
Which is why the final and most profound step in the material is something they call ego death.
Okay, that term, ego death. It sounds terrifying, like you're supposed to just annihilate yourself. Can you define that for us? What are we actually letting go of here?
It's not about losing your actual self. It's not about your personality or your core values. It's about letting go of the constructed, limited version of yourself.
The shell.
The shell. Exactly. It's the death of your excuses, the death of your fear, and maybe most of all, the death of your pride. Pride is what stops us from admitting we were wrong.
It stops you from asking for help.
And from seeing a better way forward. To truly evolve, you have to destroy the part of you that was addicted to comfort, that was addicted to being the victim.
You're shedding the stories the ego tells itself to stay safe.
Precisely. And when you do that, when you quiet that frantic resistance from the ego, everything else gets easier. Yeah. Dealing with loneliness, having patience, making sacrifices, it all flows from there. You can finally access that innate power we were talking about at the start.
This has been, a brutally honest look at this whole journey. We've covered some really uncomfortable truths. It's lonely, it's slow, it's filled with sacrifice, it's quiet. And sometimes it really, really hurts.
It does. But here is the payoff. Here's why you go through it. The version of you that comes out on the other side. The sources describe that person as unshakable, magnetic, and finally, free.
Free.
Free from the weight of those old fears, those old habits. Free from the voice of the ego demanding comfort. You trade temporary ease for permanent structural integrity.
That freedom, that feels like the ultimate prize for doing all that quiet, unseen work. It lets you live a life by your own design, not by accident.
Exactly.
So we'll leave you with one final thought to take with you from this deep dive. How do you start stepping into that free, magnetic life today? Not with some huge dramatic change, but by identifying the one brick, the single sacrifice, the single act of consistency that you need to lay in your foundation right now. What is that one deliberate choice that you're finally ready to make?